I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about, does your avoidant ex miss you? Well, avoidants can be tricky to read, can't they? And when you're new to the channel and you're just starting to hear about us talking about attachment theory, it can be really confusing because you're like, wait, I don't understand. What is anxious? What is avoidant? What is secure? What do these things mean? Well, okay, it could be a lot to take in, and many of you have never even heard these terms before your breakup, which is understandable because, quite honestly, the field is only now starting to talk about these things in the last couple of years. We've been talking about it since we launched the channel because it was a big part of me trying to understand breakups from the get-go, okay? When I'm putting together my understanding with mental health and attachment theory, because it really all goes hand in hand. But we don't understand. We're not taught this stuff in school. It should be, because quite honestly, the way we were loved and cared for and taken care of by our parents, that connection is essentially our blueprint for love. And that means that the way we were treated back then and loved back then comes out similarly in our romantic relationships. So you come to the channel and you start to realize, wow, my ex, I think they were avoidant. And you start to see all the signs we talk about in all the different videos. And if you're doing the creative healing course especially, we really have all, different sections on each one where it's primarily focused on it, so you really get a good understanding. So you start to think about it, and then you start to feel like, well, now that I'm learning about avoidance, do they really miss me? Are they really going to miss me? It seems like they don't care. But the truth is, they do care. They just don't show it as well. And oftentimes they hide those feelings from their self because it was too painful when they were little. Okay? Imagine them as 6-month-old babies, right? And they're crying in the crib. And their mom and their dad are saying, oh, let them cry it out. And the baby's sitting there crying for hours. Maybe they needed to get changed. Maybe they were gassy, and the gas is very painful for babies. So they're being neglected. So you have to imagine this adult who you are with. They're not like that because life was good, despite what they'll tell you. Because many avoidants will be like, oh, my childhood was fine. They say that because dealing with it and really looking at the reality of it is so painful to them. Now, it doesn't mean you should just tolerate somebody's behavior if they're avoidant and maybe if they're not meeting your needs or neglecting you, but having a better understanding of who they are and why they are the way they are can really help you understand and connect with them better, okay? But it's normal to feel like an avoidant ex isn't gonna miss you. Okay? So I got a really good email coaching today that kind of goes through a lot of the things that we see when avoidance might be showing that they do care and that they do miss you. Okay? So let me get into this one. They said, hi, Coach Craig. I recently found your channel after a very painful breakup with my boyfriend of 2 years. I just want to thank you for your videos as they are the only thing that gives me comfort. Well, thank you for saying that. We always appreciate those kind words. My boyfriend broke up with me just under 3 months ago, and I've been doing your workbooks every day. They've been helping me see things a lot more clearly, and I really want to change my anxious ways. I had no idea about attachment styles until I found your work. It really hit home for me as I thought I was a really good, caring girlfriend. I know that overall I was, but I can't ignore how my behavior hurt the connection with my boyfriend. TJ. He's 26 years old and I'm 25. I just got a job in my field. I think that I have a bit of an anxious attachment style, and I suspect he's a fearful avoidant. TJ grew up in a difficult home. His mother was overbearing, and his father really wasn't around much. Probably because he was trying to escape the overbearing mother, right? TJ got into trouble when he was younger. Nothing serious, but he has opened up to me in the past, and I know he has a lot of shame for things that he's done. But I think it still sticks with him. Yeah, when we have our self-esteem and our self-worth, we often reflect upon the things that we've done wrong, and it does make us feel embarrassed or ashamed and, feel guilty about our mistakes. It's tough to let mistakes go. But we all have to try, right? We all have to try and forgive ourselves for our mistakes and live in the present moment, because you can try and make up for what you've done in the present, but you can't go back and change a lot of things, right? She goes on to say, he has struggled with depression on and off. Sometimes when he gets stressed, he smokes weed. Our first 2 years together were really good. We had talked about getting engaged and moving in together. My mom was a little worried about him and his issues, because he was sometimes irritable and tired. She never interfered, but often make her opinion known to me privately. I had to admit the things that she said did influence my opinion about him and things I worried about in the relationship. That's normal. And if you think about your life, I'm sure your friends and your family's opinions about situations have impacted how you see your relationship. The problem is your friends and family aren't experts in these areas, and they often give really bad advice. And honestly, they often have really bad takes on situations and tell people to do things that just make their situation a lot worse. He sometimes struggles to get along with bosses. He left a few jobs over the years that he didn't like. Sometimes I felt like he was giving up a little too easy. We had a breakup about a year ago. I wanted to see that he was more serious about his life and our relationship. He just seemed a bit unfocused and unconcerned about things that were important to me. I told him that if he didn't give me more commitment soon, I wasn't going to take him seriously. All right, so she was getting anxious there. You could see it. Thanks to the workbooks, I realized that my anxiety kind of made me give him an ultimatum. And I've talked about ultimatums in the past. They often cause breakups. I know I have to handle things differently in the future, and I'm working on that. I don't think he handles pressure well, and he started to get more distant, which made me more anxious, and I started to get angry at him. Well, that's what we see, right? The anxiety makes us scared. We get in this state of primal panic, and then we often get angry and manipulative and controlling. This is why I tell you guys all the time, if you don't do the work, you're going to go back to those old ways before you know it. And I'm trying to help you guys see that. You got to have that clarity to change. I blew up his phone and yelled at him when I found out he was up late playing video games, ignoring my calls. So he was just maybe smoking some weed, chilling out, playing some video games, not really wanting to talk, or maybe he just didn't look at the phone. He was wrapped up in some game, and you just got more and more angry. So he said he couldn't do it anymore. I tried to have a conversation with him, but he said things that didn't make sense to me. He said, we aren't compatible with each other, which I know we are. He said he isn't sure he can make me happy anymore, and he wants me to be happy. Avoidants do often say that. I told him I just need him to show me some more maturity and grow up a little. Last time we talked, he said he needs space and doesn't want to talk right now, but he keeps doing things that confuses me. Well, avoidance can be really confusing. And a lot of times when you're seeing their behavior, you're like, well, his words are telling me one thing, but his behavior is telling me another. His behavior is telling me that he misses me. So let's look at what he's doing here. He has watched almost all of my stories on Instagram. He liked one of my posts, but then unliked it a little later. He probably didn't realize I already saw that he liked it. Okay, yep, there you go. That's one little sign. Not only is he watching those stories right away, but he even liked the post and he's like, uh-oh, better unlike it. Don't want her to know that I really care. They get anxious like that, you know? He unblocked me on Facebook and posted a song he knows that I like, but then blocked me again about a week later. Another sign that an avoidant misses you right there. They'll unblock you like that, and then they block you again with no interactions. And he had even posted a song that he knows she likes. He went to my friend's job, I think on purpose, because he rarely goes to that side of town. Certainly looks like another sign that an avoidant misses you, right? I got a blocked number in the middle of the night, but I didn't answer. So all of these together really do look like we have an avoidant that's missing their ex, right? You see all these little signs here. Watching all the stories. Liking one of the posts, but then unliking it. Unblocking on Facebook. Posting the story, then blocking her again. Going to the friend's job. I mean, all of these. Now we got a blocked number in the middle of the night. When you look at all of it together, it seems like we have an avoidant that's starting to miss you. She says, I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was. He did message me a few days ago. Oh, here we go. His behavior's escalating. To let me know he paid a bill that we were both responsible for. I said thanks. So was that an excuse to reach out? You know, these indirect directs are very confusing. Very well could be. I'm staying in no contact right now and really working on myself. I have to admit, I was really tempted to break no contact a few times. Every time I did, I just put on your videos or sat down and focused on the workbook. It helped me a lot. I really miss him. And I don't think our issues are too difficult to overcome. I think he's depressed because life hasn't gone the way he's been hoping. He's a sweet guy, and I don't think he's interested in someone else. I think I put too much pressure on him, and he started to feel bad about himself and not being able to give me what I need. That is common for avoidance. They feel bad because they see you're having all these demands and needs, and they feel bad that they can't give you those things. So that's common, okay? A little bit more here. Now that I'm feeling more confident, I don't think I will be as anxious or put as much pressure on him. I think he might be open to therapy, as he has mentioned it a few times. Well, that's another great sign, because that tells you he recognizes there's some kind of problem going on here, and he's considering doing something about it. That's a good sign in the step in the right direction for him. She goes on to say, what do you think of our situation? Okay, well, it does sound like we have a guy who grew up in a difficult home, but he seems to be really caring and considerate. And I think he's probably got low self-esteem. He's struggling with some depression. Maybe he's using weed and video games as an escape because, maybe he's got some guilt going on, or just, feeling stressed and overwhelmed that he can really give you what you need long term. Something's bothering him and he's not quite articulating it well or telling you what's going on here. But he does seem to really care about you, right? And he's doing some things here that are really showing me that, yeah, I think he's missing you. I mean, all those behaviors that I mentioned earlier, they're all signs. You put all those things together. Liking the post, unliking it, unblocking her, then blocking her again, posting the song, going to her friend's work, blocking, or possibly a block number in the middle of the night. We don't know if it was him or not. And then messaging about the bill. Sounds like another indirect direct. So I think he's going to reach out. I would just stay in no contact. Keep working on yourself. Because if you're going to be with an avoidant like this, it's going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take understanding that pressure on him makes him withdraw more and makes him feel like he can't be a good partner for you. Now, I would love to see him get into therapy and recognize he's got some issues here and he's got to do something about it. And losing you could be the very thing that does that for him. So I do think he cares about you. I do think these are all signs that he's missing you. And I do think he's going to reach out to you again. The key is not to put more pressure on him. Take things slow. Go at his speed. I know it's not easy to do, but you're working on the creative healing course and the workbooks. It's going to help you learn a lot more patience and understanding and how to navigate a partner like this, because he will need patience. If you are going to be with somebody like this, you have to show them a lot more patience than you would somebody that is healthier. But if you love somebody and you really want them a part of your life, that's a personal decision that everybody has to make for themselves. Some people may say, that's not enough for me, I need more. Some people may say, you know what? I'm going to understand myself better. I'm going to learn more emotional self-control. And then I'm going to see if it's enough for me, if he can give me more. I would love to see him get into therapy. And perhaps that's something you could talk about when he starts to reach out more and more, which I think he will. And at some point you say, you've mentioned getting therapy before. Is that something you're really considering? Because I would love to see you do that, and I will be here to support you if you do that, because I think we can build a stronger foundation and connection together. But don't pressure him. Don't bully him into doing it, because he'll just get scared and run away. But for now, be patient. I do think he cares. I do think he's missing you. All of these signs show me that. Doesn't mean you should put your life on hold forever, of course. But I do think he's a caring guy that's really struggling with his own issues right now. But I do think you'll hear from him. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get my help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. You can get the creative healing course and my workbooks on my website. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.